first and foremost. Get this recorded first for later, for broadcasting at a later point. My name, if you don't know me already, is Mark Bouzan. I am a husband, a father, as well. A wonderful little 5-year-old guy. Love my life there. It's Simon. My wife, Caroline, is just a wonderful person as well. I am the founder of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors and our Executive Director, Association Management and Consulting Services to nonprofits and associations alike. I'm also the founder of Nonprofit Fundraising Hackers. It's a wonderful growing group on Facebook of all of those out there as professionals who are trying to look for an interesting way to be able to hack their fundraising initiatives without those nasty, difficult grants that can, as I've spoken on numerous occasions of this. So if you're with us, thank you for being at this. I want to let you know as well, I'm with you. I know exactly this. I've been a two-time board director. I've been a two-time executive director of 2 national associations. I've been on boards, and now in the consulting world of this, I've kind of seen all of this. So I want to put a little bit of an interesting message out today for you. A bit of furthering my last podcast of showing you exactly the step-by-step process of how I took a nonprofit association from just 3 traditional partners and like this to 36 in a span of 2.5 years, and that meant $525,000 in brand new revenues for them as well. So if you really are interested in this, heart this very much, because I understand the Facebook world in particular, Periscope to a certain degree as well, loves this kind of, they like the hearts, not the thumbs up as much. And it used to be helping so many of your other colleagues as well in the nonprofit world, getting the word out as well. So if you're interested in this, today's topic is this third step. The third step in exactly how I went about getting to $525,000 in nonprofit revenues, nearly a 10 times jump in new revenues for them in a very short period of time, just over 2 years as well. So I'm going to be broadcasting this from today. If you're not already with us on the group, Nonprofit Fundraising Hackers, that is a Facebook group, look us up. The link is down below. We're also going to be, as I mentioned, on my own timeline on Facebook, on Periscope, and through the page of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors on Facebook as well. So a little bit later as well, be on Snapchat, and then this will be posted up on YouTube, and you'll get it. But the best way, frankly, just technology, unfortunately, doesn't allow you, if you're interacting, you're saying hello to you, love to chat with you, but unfortunately the technology across these multiple different broad streams doesn't allow me to do that. The best way to interact, if you have questions on doing this, check out the link below on that's in the sign up in the descriptor text for Zoom, okay? You can get on there, love to have you and interact with you. So again, without further ado, today the step 3 in how I 10 times the revenues, the new revenues for a nonprofit organization in a span of 2.5 years. Now, step 1, last week I spoke about the value, okay, of assets. How you have to be making sure that you've got something that's of great value. The second step that I spoke of last week was the importance of feedback as well, okay? Too often nonprofit organizations go about this with the perspective of solicitation, that is, in terms of finding, of spewing out what they think is valuable, and the mismatches often happen. The third step we're gonna talk today is database, okay? What do I mean by that? Now, a database, I can't stress this too much. It's impossible for me to stress it not too much. You need to have a very robust listing of prospective sponsors, donors, benefactors, exactly, that you've got to be constantly going out and reaching out to. And the simple reason for this is that you have no idea. We have no idea in the nonprofit world what's going on in the world of our benefactors or our sponsors like this, if this is the right time for them to want to give in there. Maybe they're ready, maybe they're not. Often not, they might be interested, but this is not the right time as well. So you've got to be able to keep on moving forward and moving the churn forward, and eventually enough of the contact outreach is going to get you there. But if you don't have enough people to reach out to and begin with, this can be a bit of a problem. It can leave you whistling Dixie, as you will, at your office as well. So the problem that comes about when you don't have a database that's strong enough is often enough two big challenges here. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a comment here. Two big problems come about. The first problem is a mentality of scarcity when you don't have this, okay? The second problem that comes about often enough is people are scared of doing sales. They're scared of making a pitch. And in my mind, the scarcity mentality, which ties towards the scared of sales attitude, comes from often enough when you ask people how many people have they reached out to, and say, well, I talked to about 2 or 3 this week, and that didn't go well, I've said to one of the prospects that you contact me and talk to me when you talk to about 100 or 200 or so of people, and they've given you some feedback about what they value. Then you can create something back there. But if you're filling your data, if your contact list or your outreach or your idea of reach is maybe 10, 15 people at any given point in time, I'm sorry, but you are missing the boat here. A solid database is so critical. All right. This scarcity mentality comes often from a fact of, well, I haven't reached out. I've only reached out to a few people who would really want to give to the organization. I want this. Well, that's just you're going really out to chance that you've reached enough people, or just by chance that people that you've reached out to are already willing, know about your organization. That just feeds into your scarcity mentality as well. That, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But if you approach this, where at any given point in time, I can tell you when I worked with the Association of Consulting Engineering Companies, my database had anywhere from 250 to 300 people, organizations at any given point in time that I was filtering through and set a target of reaching out to 12, 20 people a day. Spend that over the course of a 5-day working week, over a full month, you can get a good idea that that's a lot of people I've spoken to. And inevitably, you're going to hit something. You're going to hit something as well. People are often scared of the sales aspect as well, when in fact, ooh, my word, all of the pressure feels on you that this particular person has to come through for you. That's a lot of pressure for somebody like that doesn't share, may not necessarily share the same passion that you have for the cause. But if you've got multiple people that you haven't reached, it takes so much of the pressure off of you. And the activity of solicitation can actually be quite a fun and challenging activity. Now, how do you go about building a database, all right? There are a number of things. But before I go and do that, let me share with you just an image, okay, that I took off of a Google search. It's a representation, frankly, of just any old CRM, what it could look like. It's something like this, just to get a Google image. So I'm going to show you a sample of what it should be actually looking like. Okay, so if you're seeing this for here, example, this is something similar, not exactly like this. This is taken out of a corporate world, but a lot of applicability applies in the not-for-profit world. In my day-to-day work, whenever I'm doing solicitations like this, my database is be filled with a column here of people who are ideas of people whom I might want to reach out towards. Some of the next column might be indeed where and whom I might be speaking to at any given point in time, or I've already had a conversation with. Following up gently over time as well. Well, I've had some conversations later on with people who have actually seem to be intrigued, but they're kind of figuring out what that might look like for them. And the next column is generally something along the lines of a proposal being sent, or more concrete discussions of being there. They're a little bit more advanced. And then the final column, often enough, here, this column here is very often where we're at the contract discussion phase. We're negotiating the terms. There are a lot of steps from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 steps here. 5 steps. See, folks, if I had only had, at any given point in time, 5, 10, 15 people in my database, wow, I can't be calling somebody, the same person, 5 times a day or 5 times a week. I'm likely going to be put on, I'm going to be likely put a call, have the police show up for harassment. So you see the point of this is when I'm following up at any given point in time with a good CRM, and you can use anything. I use pipedrive.com. You can there's Nutshell. There's tons of them out there. Undoubtedly in the Razor's Back Edge or whatever that may be that works in your organization. A lot of them are fine and great, but constant little reminders set up for yourself when you're following up at any given point in time. It's more of an exercise of just kind of checking in as well. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So instead of approaching fundraising or sponsorship solicitations from the perspective of, oh, who do I talk to? Well, I don't know who I'm going to talk to. I would view myself very much like a fisherman. I would often say there, who would have multiple lines, fishing lines laid up at the pier. And every morning I'd be going in and checking to see, oh, this is one point, and I got a little bit of the fish. Here, excuse my drawing. Where you see within there, at any given point in time, somebody would be ready to pick, and they might be interested, or a new development may come out there, or they ask for a little bit more information. That was my job. And when I approached that process of soliciting and going out with this, the mentality I had of change went from away from scarcity towards that of plenty, often enough. You can do that too. It can be fun. You don't have to suffer. You can build your database through a number of different initiatives, either through looking where journals might be on a given subject. If you've got an idea of a particular market of sponsors, for example, in a particular thing, look where they advertise. What do they advertise? Where and how could your offering tie up with this as well? LinkedIn is a fantastic tool that so many times I believe that nonprofits don't leverage effectively as they really could as well. Now, folks, there are many, many different ways that you could do this. The time just does not allow me to be able to get into this further. But this is the third step that you've got to build somehow at all and carve out some time in your schedule or your staff schedule, your volunteer schedule, to be building this database so that you've got a robust income and revenue stream being built up. Okay? Folks, I love thank you very much. Love you with you. You're doing fantastic work as nonprofit professionals. You owe it to the people that you serve to make sure that your organization is flush with revenue so that you can deliver on your mission. But to do that, you do have to make some investments in your time and in your budget to make certain that your business development, your revenue generating capabilities are also there. You've done it with other things like getting your organization founded. This is also a cost that needs to be factored in, and it's a critical thing. Without this, organizations struggle. With you, if you'd love to have any more information about how this process works or how this, leave a comment down below. All right, in one of these forums that you see with you. Again, we're broadcasting from Periscope, from Facebook, on the group of nonprofit fundraising hackers, from the page of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors, and from my own personal timeline as well on Facebook. Thanks so much for everyone.